a very good morning, whatever time you are viewing this from. Welcome. My name is Elvis Omondi, and I have an interesting guest, Father Marcel Uwineza. Have I pronounced that right?
Very well.
Okay, Father Marcel Uwineza is the current principal at Hekima University College. Yes, I've gotten also that right. All right. And Father Marcel, maybe to somebody who hasn't interacted with you, somebody who hasn't met you, who is Father Marcel?
Thank you very much, Elvis, for inviting me, and it's an honor, and greetings to all our viewers.
Yes.
To someone who hasn't met with me, I'm a person who has risen from the ashes, the ashes of the genocide. And there are events in life that we encounter, and they change the course of our outlook, our being, our way of viewing the world, and Rwandan experience is one of those. Uwineza in Kinyarwanda means one with kindness. And Marcel is one who works hard, a fighter for a greater cause. So I am grateful to my parents who have given me those wonderful names.
There are names that the translation is powerful. Do you believe there is power in names?
There is power in names. To our viewers who have had the privilege of reading Mind Boy, a novel from South Africa, set in the era of apartheid, we know that there were many people who were not named. They were only known by numbers. And the writer of Mind Boy kept saying, they only know me by number. What is in a name? A name gives an identity, a name gives a horizon. And usually in Africa, parents name you because they have a particular wish or a perspective or the context under which you are born. Those sometimes have determined the names we are given. And so my parents have given me this name because I'm first born in my family. And when I was born, my parents had been married for nearly 3 years, but it took a while before I was conceived. And so one of the family relatives started causing trouble that my mother is barren, she can't conceive. And yet it was the decision of my parents. So finally when I was born, they gave me the word Uwineza to mean this is of the kindness of God to extinguish fire in the family. So I cherish my name. And I hope I can radiate goodness and kindness, if you like, fadhili to everyone.
Fadhili na wema, that's Swahili.
Yes, exactly.
When you speak about names, especially in the African context, we give names based on seasons, like where I come from, the Luo community. Names are given probably based on the time somebody's born, based on the season somebody's born. For example, if somebody is, or there are twins born, there is a specific name for twins. So with those names, they tend to be common. So I don't know, Uwineza, is it a common name in Rwanda or is it a unique name?
No, you have quite a number of people who have the name Uwineza. So I'm not alone. And not necessarily people with whom I am related by blood. So you find it with many, many people. I think the desire is that we radiate goodness. And that's what, when you are given that name.
All right. So maybe away from that, you are a father under the Catholic Church, of course. The order is Jesuit. What is this thing for non-Catholics? How would you explain the orders under the Catholic Church?
Thank you very much, Mr. Omondi. It's a good question, and many people begin to ask. We have diocesan priests, we have Dominicans, we have Jesuits, we have Franciscans. Why all this? It's good to appreciate that in life and within the Catholic Church, we have the gift of different charisms, different gifts. And actually that is, you find that even in the first letter of St. Paul to the Corinthians, chapter 12, that some are given gift of prophecy, others of teaching, others of administration, others of speaking in tongues.
But all these
Yes,
gifts,
so
they
these
edify
gifts
the Lord.
all to build the body of Christ.
Yes.
So the Jesuits in particular is a religious order made up of men, priests and brothers, which was founded by St. Ignatius of Loyola in 1490. And when he was born in 1490, and then he was wounded when he was fighting the French. He was a Spaniard, a Spanish. And when he was fighting, he was wounded. And during his convalescence, when he was recovering, he began to ask, I've been running after glory. But all this has not satisfied me. Can I look for something that is more satisfying? And the only thing that was in his room was a book of the gospel, and then the good book of the lives of the saints, especially Francis of Assisi and Saint Dominic. And every time he read the life of Jesus, he felt fulfilled. Or life of Saint Dominic, life of Saint Francis of Assisi. And compared to the fame he sought before, he would put it on a weighing scale. He said, when I think of this, the fame, reputation, glory I sought before my woundedness, it is short-lived. But then when I think of how Christ lived in his humility, it lasts longer. That's how he was converted. And later on, of course, he went to France to study, and he will form a group around himself, and notably Francis Xavier. Many people will know him. Even here in Kenya, we have a parish named after St. Francis Xavier. And then later, they will offer themselves to the Pope in 1540. They went to offer themselves to the Pope, and then they formed a congregation. The charism really, first of all, as a way of helping souls. Helping souls. Of course, that can have different ways of helping souls. So through retreats, showing the way to God, or education. Jesuits are mostly known in the education sector, especially intellectual apostolate, or social ministry. We help a lot the poor and care for the environment. So several charisms that, of course, are first of all rooted in the fact that we desire to be men of God. It's not climbing the ladder, but first of all, to be men dedicated to God at the service of the church. Obviously, some other congregations can do that, but we have it in our particular Ignatian way. So I hope that answers your question.
It answers most of the questions I have. Maybe probably still on the same. When it comes to the orders within the Catholic Church, the most, I think, talked about, especially for my generation, those of us who went to high school between 2014 and 2017, we may know of the Opus Dei, because there is a famous novel that we read, and it extensively touched on that. What is the difference between, let's say, Opus Dei and Jesuit? Where is the difference? Why can't we have just one?
I think the answer I gave it previously is in the way we carry out our ministry. So the Jesuits are called to be contemplatives in action.
What does that mean?
So what that means, the world is our monastery. We are not confined to one place. So you can find a Jesuit in the inner city, in the middle of the city, in a rural parish, or in Kibera, or in a university like me, or just keep teaching catechism. So we usually say the world is our home, our parish. And that's how Ignatius wanted it. While some other congregations, notably Opus Dei, will also have their way, particular way of conducting their ministry. So if you want to know who a Jesuit is, and our documents put it beautifully, following Jesus, humble and poor. And in every ministry we carry. And of course, that they should know a Jesuit, first of all, by looking at Jesus, how he carried himself. The typical example one will take is Pope Francis. Many may not have understood him, but he often pointed to Jesus Christ. How would Jesus have reacted in this situation? I think when we put that question in perspective, we begin to see some of the reactions, perspectives, teachings of Pope Francis. So the Opus Dei will have their way.
Their way of doing things.
Franciscans will have their way. Dominicans will be more in preaching the word, so the order of preachers. The Franciscans will be more geared towards a life of simplicity and poverty. You will certainly have the Salesians who will deal with the young people, ministry to the young people. So again, it goes back to charism. Which gift specific to the Jesuits that helps us to save the world? And so we carry out in multiple ways. In retreat direction, spiritual direction, intellectual apostolate, parish, outreach to the poor, care for the environment, all this as a way of building the body of, and always in obedience to the local church, to the local ordinary, the bishop, and of course, the Pope.
Maybe to land or to close that chapter of the Jesuit, there are a lot of whispers, let me call them whispers, about the Jesuit, especially when it comes to the secretiveness. Things that are attributed to them, I don't know, let me call them conspiracy theories, assassinations, attempts to control the governments. Is there anything in that?
No. I wonder where people get those type of things.
Why would people get,
I just wonder where people get, and actually giving them value is already, even talking about them is giving them value they don't deserve. We are men of God. Really at the heart for us is to preach the gospel in the different context. Those conspiracy theories, either they come from jealousy of how we conduct our ministry, either they come from some who feel an inferiority complex against Jesuits, or simply dislike, or some Jesuits may have not conduct themselves well, but that does not give the whole picture of the Jesuits. So with all respect, if you want to learn a community, you go and
live within the community.
Them. We are men of God.
All right. Away from that, your story. Right now you're in Kenya, but this story does not begin in Kenya. Where does it begin?
Oh, my story begins in central Rwanda. I'm born in 1980, so I'm 46. And central Rwanda to a wonderful parents, Chrysostom and Louise, who raised me beautifully in my early adolescence. And in central Rwanda, they took me to the best schools. They loved me, as one would imagine, especially as a firstborn. They were very prayerful parents. And with all humility, I did well in school. So my father was always pleased whenever he came home. He was a businessman. So fairly, we are not extremely rich family, but we are not an extremely poor family. We are middle class family. My mom was a teacher. And so there was always some level of discipline and rigor at home, but still a loving mom. And then we were a very prayerful family. I remember the first, a few days before I went to receive Holy Communion in the Catholic Church. That's the day you receive Jesus for the first time in the Eucharist. My dad approached me and he said, "My son, you are going to receive Jesus for the first time on Sunday." That was on a Friday. What will you tell Jesus? Now, I used to be a very inquisitive boy. I looked at Dad and I said, "Dad, why do you want to know?" That's an affair between me and Jesus.
Wow.
Dad was not very pleased, like any father, any parent.
Any African parent, that will
He actually slapped me. But honestly, I had not thought about it. I was just going through the normal process like any other kid. But Dad wanted me to think specifically of one thing I would tell Jesus when I received the Eucharist. I tried to bring it back. He was angry. He never came back. But the day of first Holy Communion came 15th of August 1988. I receive. Then I tell Jesus, make me a priest one day.
Why?
I think there was really an inner voice of a desire to be a priest. I don't know how that was born. Just something deep within me. And I used to observe some priests in the parish. They attracted me. I loved the way they were dedicated, especially the associate parish priest, who was wonderful, preached very well, sang very well. As kids, you are often attracted by external things, but then with time, as you grow, they have to be purified and deepened. So I wanted to be like him, Father Theotim. Then, of course, the desire grew, and then I lost my parents. First, my dad was killed in 92, bombed, and that was catastrophic.
What?
So in Kigali, he was in Kigali. He had gone to pick a big parcel that his young brother had sent him, Muvara, and then while he's at the central car park, they threw a bomb and he died.
What was the nature of the bombing? I want to imagine 1994.
This is 92.
92 bombing is not a thing. We've not had 9/11 and all that.
No. It was like a grenade, maybe a big grenade that was at the central park. Many people were injured, but he's the only one who died. Yeah.
Okay, what I'm asking, is it a terror group? What was the intention of this?
If you go to the history of Rwanda, we can go back to 1959 when there is a revolution. We move from the monarchy to independence. And those who wish can read this in my book, my first book, Risen from the Ashes, Theology as Autobiography in Post-Genocide Rwanda. I talk about the history of Rwanda and why there was a genocide in chapter 2 of this book. And once you read the book, you will want to finish the whole book. But so the shift from monarchy to independence, and many people died, especially the Tutsis who were expelled. The Tutsis who had been in power. Now with the shift to independence, the Hutus went to power. So there was turning of tables. And that came with a lot of exiles and killings, especially of Tutsis. And my family is Tutsi. And of course, my grandfather had been jailed during this revolution. Left my father, who was born in 1954, left them very young. When he was released, he wanted to take them, but he had to go to Burundi, hoping that he would come and bring them back. So they grew up with grandma alone back in central Rwanda, in Ruhango. So many exiles. So that's a long story. If I go that, it's a whole book in itself. But you cannot remain a refugee forever. So the many exiles came together because they kept telling the government that they needed to come back to their country. So they formed a group, the Rwanda Patriotic Front, to fight for their rights to return. The government had refused them to return. And so they invaded the country in 1990, 1st of October 1990. So if you go that to history, you will read the invasion of the former exiles who wanted to come back to Rwanda. And when they invaded, majority of them were Tutsis, of course. The Tutsis who are in the country started being persecuted. Many of them will be killed. And of course, during those persecutions, they also used to throw grenades in central places. So that was the grenade thrown by the then government or by the invaders? That I don't know. I haven't done any forensic or study of it. But my father died in that, and which changed the course of our life. So the story changes. I, in a sense, lost my adolescence. I talk about my first chapter of this book. Of course, there were some negotiations between the government And the rebel group, the negotiations took place in Arusha, Tanzania, for almost 3 years. And accords were signed, but they were never implemented. And when the president of Rwanda was coming from Arusha back to Kigali, his plane was shot.
That is now 94.
That's in 1994.
The same plane was carrying the Burundian?
Was also carrying the Burundian president, which has remained enigmatic, so no one knows exactly who shot the plane. But what we know is that with the shooting of the plane, it was like an ignition of fire. Soon as the plane was shot, that night many people started being killed. And the targeted group was not anonymous, were the Tutsis. And then that's when we begin to discover that already the list for killings had been drawn. Places where people were thrown had been already dug. And so we left our home, I remember, on the 13th of April. And we went to the parish of Vyimana in central Rwanda. When we arrived, we hoped that the parish priest would accommodate us at least for that night. We knocked at the rectory, or where the priest lived. The priest, he came out, Joseph. And he comes, and my mother told him, "Father, we have nowhere else to go. You know, they are killing Tutsis everywhere in the country. Can you accommodate us for this night?" And the priest, he said it in Kinyarwanda, "Nta mwanya mfitiye abatutsi hano, nimugende. I have no place for Tutsis here, you go away." My mother insisted. All this is happening in Kinyarwanda, so it's not in a foreign language. I understood perfectly. I was 14 at the time. Mom insisted, "Father, you may not be having guest rooms in the rectory. Can we go into the church hall, and stay there overnight?" The priest in question sent the guards to go and close the church. And then he locked us out and he left. This man, I am looking for a day when I will meet him. He's been in jail but that's a long story. He's been in jail for the last 30 years. So out there, how do we survive the place? There were militias all everywhere. So there was a wonderful, and again, you can read this in the book, an invitation for people to read the book. There was a wonderful Hutu man who hid us, took us and hid us in a beehive compound. So he had the compound where he had the hives, and in the hives there were bees. The bees were friendlier than human beings. And since during April, it is the raining season in Rwanda, when it rained, people will not come to kill. But at times they will even be searching with dogs. And you know the dogs have the capacity to smell. So one day, this man, Mr. Kabera Joseph, I talk about him in my book, he came at around 2 a.m. to tell us that they may be coming to search his house the next day. And they will be coming with dogs. And they are doing that because they were suspecting that he might be hiding people because he was not going to kill. He was not joining others. So he was suspect. So he tells us, "Dear friends, I don't know. If they find all of you here," I was with my mom, my grandmom, my 2 brothers, and my cousin. "If they find you here, you will all be killed. Is there any other place you can go?" Where do we go?
There's killing everywhere.
There are killings everywhere. This is where I don't like when people begin to have this equivalence. The target was clear all the Tutsis. Again, we knew if we don't leave the compound, we are putting him at risk. Because the law was, if they find you and you have been hiding Tutsis, you may die with them. So my mother said, "Mr. Kabera, you have tried your best. You took your risk. We will go." Where do we go? This is now, we left the compound, the beehive compound, around 4 a.m. Going where? Returning
to your house?
To our home. which had been destroyed, burnt, actually.
And you've said there was already a list. So
exactly. Yeah. So on our way, around 6 in the morning, we left at 4. Around 6, it's beginning to be brighter. There were some women out there. I will never forget that image. They shouted, "We have seen them. Twababonye, twababonye." And their husbands came out. They approached my mom, said, "Give us money, give us money." Mom gave the little she was left with. And then they approached me, say, "Who are you?" Again, I have always said I'm a very inquisitive person. I say, "Don't you see we are human beings?" That's what I was saying. He slapped me. Say, that's not what we want. We want to know, who are you? Say, give us your identity cards. Now, the worst tragedy of Rwanda, one of the worst tragedies of Rwanda is that identity cards had indications of one's ethnic affiliation. So if you give your identity card, you automatically know who you are. So if you are Tutsi, it will be written. If you are Hutu, it will be written. Hutu. So, and if you refuse to give it, you are confirming you are a Tutsi. After all, why are you refusing to give him? So we refused to give. Of course, they immediately say that's where you are confirming who you are. And of course, even the way we looked, we had been in the beehive compound. If you are an ordinary, normal, as if we were abnormal.
Even looking like fugitives.
Say, yeah. And so they beat my mom there, which really became catastrophic. Later will lead to her death. And my grandma. Now, what saved us there? In that squad of men who are preparing to kill us, this is in a different, should I say, Jumuiya, in the different district from ours, because we were at the time in Mukingi, where we close to Bimana. Ours was Masango, so we had crossed to the other. So in that district, there was a prominent Tutsi man they had been looking for. And at the time we were there, as they were preparing to kill us, someone discovered him. And that whole killing squad went after him. Say, "Oh, leave these ones, we will come back to finish them after we are done with this guy." There was a wonderful man in that crowd, in that mob, who said, "You guys, just escape. They have all gone. Escape, go to the district office." That's how we survived the place. And this man asked his son to take us to the district office. As if that was even better, because the district office, they are the ones who are organizing the killings anyway. But we arrived, and we found some other people who had camped at the city hall, close to 200 people. One will read that in this book. And we had been ordered not to pass through the main gate, but to pass through the side door, that's what we did. First day, second day, third day, there's no food. Fourth day, and the militias, or the killing squad, they were called Interahamwe. They will come, pick the most prominent people they knew, kill them there. Then they will say, "We are only keeping you for ourselves. Tomorrow will be your turn." The mayor of the city, Basil, I remember his name.
Before that, you've mentioned a name there. What's the meaning of the group? It's called
Interahamwe. These were youths who are trained to kill.
What's the meaning of that name?
Interahamwe means those who invade together. So it is a group that had been trained to kill during the genocide. It was a youth militia of the ruling party, Emerenide, at the time.
You're saying the mayor?
The mayor, I think, was perplexed. He said, "These guys are all going to be killed here, or they will throw a grenade in the city hall, and I will lose the city hall." So he ordered 3 big buses, like a city hopper, if I was speaking here in Nairobi.
Kenyan context.
Yeah, in the Kenyan context. Big buses, 3 of them. We were almost 200 people. And they amassed us in those, and they took us to the cathedral of Kabgayi, central Rwanda. Mind you, we don't know where we are going. We are just led like sheep. Some people refused. They say, "We will die here anyway." and those who remained there were killed. We entered the bus. We went to the cathedral, and when we arrived, there was another killing squad just in front of the cathedral. They said, anyone who has a small piece of identity that shows paper that or shows that you are a Rwandan, will let you get into the cathedral. That was a trap. Remember, identity cards in Rwanda has ethnic affiliation. So no one gave. Then he said, we will kill you from here. What saves us? The parish priest. See, you see the contrast. In life, we never put people in the same box.
Which I wanted to ask.
The parish priest, François Murigo, I will never forget his name. He came, persuaded the guys to let us get into the...
Which I wanted to ask. Yeah. The first parish priest who sent you away. And before that, you had a dream of becoming a father, following in the footsteps of the faith. What does that do to you?
It disoriented me, made me hate priest, let me be honest, at the time, made me hate the Catholic Church. And remember, I am only 14, so even the ability to distinguish that this is done by one person who doesn't represent the whole institution wasn't there yet. That's why it is terrible to do anything bad to a young person. And so I quit the Catholic Church for 3 years. So from 1994 to 1997, I was not stepping in church because of the image of that priest. But later on, I went to a Catholic school, and I met other wonderful priests. The desire came back to be a priest. That's how later I will join the Jesuits. And of course, the priest who threw us out has been in jail for the last 30 years. Because we are not even the ones who accused him. There are others, many others, who accused him. So he was sentenced for 30 years. He's probably getting out of jail around this time. So it's a long, painful story. We were at the cathedral for nearly a month and a half. It was life of misery. They would take people and kill them or go and throw them in the rivers. Those who were born here in Kenya at the time, the bodies were floating in Lake Victoria. People may have, those older than me will remember that. Because one of the big rivers of Rwanda
is a tributary to Lake Victoria.
Yes. So the bodies were thrown in the rivers and they will be floating. They were, I'm sure those who even have watched the movies or who remember, I'm told at some point they stopped eating fish because of the floating bodies. Now, to cut the long story short, we were saved by the rebel group on the 2nd of June. Remember, we left home on the 13th of April. So this is almost 2 months. It was a way of the cross, if you like. And many people along the way have died. Some of my siblings have died, have been killed. So,
how many?
3. And again, because an interview, I will not give everything. I invite some people to read the book.
Risen from the Ashes.
Yeah, Risen from the Ashes. And I have also the French version, Ressuscité de mes cendres. And then I co-edited another big book, Reinventing Theology in Post-Genocide Rwanda, a very scholarly book that can be used to know more what happened in Rwanda. And this one is mixture of my autobiography and then a reflection born from this. Equally good books. But we leave the camp where we were on the 2nd of June.
Maybe even before leaving the camp, you say you were saved by rebels.
The rebel group.
So the rebel group, this one is now the one that is led by the current president.
The current president,
all right, Paul Kagame.
Paul Kagame.
Okay, can go on.
And how, because as soon as the killing started, they worked hard to save at least some lives. That's how they go to Kabwai. And if they had not arrived at that time, we probably would have perished. And so survived with my mom, erring mom, Remember, she had been seriously
Beaten.
Then later we get to know that 3 of the siblings we had left home had been killed. And not just killed, thrown in a pit latrine. Maybe people in the city will not know what a pit latrine is, but where people go to the restroom. So survival of killings, but now an interior or internal war begins. How will I ever face the people who killed my siblings? The people who destroyed our houses, who changed my childhood? On the side of my mom, many had been killed. My grandmother, on the side of my mom, she was thrown in that river I was talking about, Nyabarongo. She probably floated in Victoria. We never had her body to bury her. Sometime I wake up, I say, oh, maybe grandma is still alive. But this is now 32 years. We would have discovered it. And I'm not alone. There were many others who lost people like that. At least I can rejoice that I have a few siblings who survived. There are many others where no one even survived. Now, 94, June, July, August. What happens is that my uncle, Charles Muvara, who had been living in Burundi, returned. And he came to the camp where we lived. And they used loudspeakers. They were asking, is there anyone from the family of Muvara who survived? That's how some people reconnected. Muvara, he was my godfather. Besides being my uncle, I rushed to go and greet him. And how we looked, how life had changed from a middle-class family to a camp. And I share this story not for people to have pity on me. It's just to show that one of the worst animals is a human being. And also the extent to which hatred can lead. So let people not say, oh, this poor priest. No. I have actually healed from this. That's why I've risen from the ashes. Yes. And otherwise, I would not even be seated in this office in the first place.
There is a content creator. He talks about cars and analyzes cars. He's called El Karanja. And in one of the video, which is a different video from the cars, it's about an elephant. And he analyzes the elephant, comparing it with cars. At the end, he says the elephant in the jungle does not have any predator. A lion cannot kill it. It can only die probably of old age after the teeth fall out. But it only has one predator, which is worse than any other predator somebody can think of. And that's a human being.
In Rwanda, other animals were better than some human beings. I give you an example. There's a wonderful book by Jean Bosco, one of the survivors. He narrates in his book of a story of a group of sisters who had hidden some people, religious sisters. But then the militias came to get the people out, and they killed them in front of the convent and left them in a big
pile
place there they had dug. Now, one of the persons there was half dead, was not fully killed. The dog of the sisters kept barking, calling attention, barking, and you can imagine how the sisters were afraid that probably the killers are coming back. One of the sisters courageously went out only to discover that the dog was calling attention so that the sisters come and save that one who is still alive. And Jean Bosco, in his book, Rutagenga, says, as mean as a dog may be, it was better than some human beings. The same can be said in Rwanda. The bees saved us rather than the human beings.
And you've said the bees.
So, yes. So, again, the long story short, and just invite people to read.
Maybe
I managed to know where my siblings were killed and thrown in a pit latrine. And the best thing you can do is to give people a decent burial. So we buried them back home, close to the tomb of my dad. And guess what? The man who had killed them, whom I had jailed, had confessed that he killed them. And because jails were overcrowded, overcrowded because of so many inmates who were accused, who suspected of having killed, whoever confessed was given a minor sentence. They would be given community service. So he was one of them. I met him in 2003. Manirarora, his name. I had gone to pray at the tombs, not because of anger or... I think you visit the tombs. It helps, the visit to the tombs helps you to see clearly. One day I will be there. But also those who are there have left me a legacy now to carry on. So it's not out of nostalgia for the dead. It's actually to be able, I want to do better or to continue their legacy. So every time I go to Rwanda, I visit the tombs.
It's a challenge,
but also to
live better.
To live better. So there I am at the tombs, and Manirarora appeared. He had been released. And I see him there. And then he knelt to the ground, looked at me. I didn't want to look at him. Up to that point, he was still a monster. And then he said, Brother Marcel, I wasn't a priest then yet. I was still a seminarian. You know what I did. I confessed to the government. I didn't know where you were. Will you have some space in your heart to forgive me? I don't know on what ground I was standing. One, I was afraid. Am I safe? Can't he kill me? Does he mean it? Can I be forgiven on behalf of the dead? Even if I forgive, will they come back? Why does he just wait to come and apologize only because he saw me? All these questions were coming in. But I think this is where I have come to define forgiveness as doing the impossible. Actually, if it was so easy, then shouldn't be, To forgive is to do the unimaginable. I was invaded by, I think, something bigger than me. I asked him to rise. Looked him in the eyes. And then I said, Manirarora, I forgive you. And when I finally said those words, I felt free. It's like I too had been in jail. Even though I was walking outside. And that's exactly what forgiveness does. It sets you free. You cease to keep drinking poison, hoping that the other person is going to die. It opens up a wider horizon to realize that your life cannot be narrowed to a page or 2 pages of your past. There are other pages to write. It's like opening a room, a stuffy room, to allow some oxygen to enter. Unforgiveness leads to asphyxiation, if you like. The lack of oxygen, being choked. That's how I felt. And so in this book, I look at the liberating power of forgiveness. There is a chapter on that. I took him to a nearby pub. Mr. Omondi, I shared the beer with him. Then I drove back, free. I told a few of my siblings, they called me crazy. How could you do that? I didn't care less. I was set free. This is the story of my life. The story that some people have heard, and surprisingly, even was invited to speak at the United Nations about this at the General Assembly in 2019. Would I say I was happy about it? No. I wish the genocide didn't have to happen for me to go there. I wish we had not been abandoned by the same international community. Then probably would have danced with my cousins, nephews, grandma, see them aging. I would have been happy seeing my parents on my ordination day. So when some people say, oh, he spoke at the United Nations, they think I take it as a great honor. Maybe, in a sense. But on the other hand, I would wish to speak at the United Nations on a different topic.
Maybe have your grandmother listen to you speak at the United.
Exactly. But be as it may, at least I spoke on behalf of the dead, those who were silenced. So you asked me my story. Certainly, these are snapshots.
Yeah.
If in the book, the first 4 chapters, I tell the full story and how the genocide happened in the first place, and then how I survived, and then how I forgave, and then how I became a Jesuit and a priest.
The whole story.
The whole story.
In one of the most, I think, said prayers in the Christian faith, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. You've written literally a book on that. Why is it so difficult at times for us human beings, from your assessment, to let go of things, to forgive, even though we know that from your experience and from other people's experience, that forgiving is releasing ourselves, Why does it become so difficult, and how can we ease the path for ourselves to forgive others and forgive even ourselves?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Omonde. You see, what is painful most of the times is not that we have been harmed. What is most painful for many people is to be harmed and wounded by the people you trusted most. If it was someone you didn't even know, it has a different taste. But Rwanda, these were the people we lived with. These were the people we played with. These were the people we prayed with. Some of them, my father had taken them to school. And a few had some disease. He had to carry them quickly to the hospital. But even broadly speaking, the pain and the inability to forgive often comes because we are still struggling to digest the fact that this person we trusted the most is the one who did this to me. It's a reality one has to grapple with. That's one. So if it is someone you never knew,
it will be easier.
It's easier. But in Rwanda, this is where the people we live in the same village, who on the following morning we saw them with machetes, took our cows, had the list of the people to kill, who had the dug holes to put the people. And yet, 3 days before the genocide started, we had gone to celebrate Easter together. Remember, the genocide happened in the octave of Easter. And so that is the most painful reality. Secondly, forgiveness is a process, not an event. So some people, it takes longer, if it ever happens. For some others, they are able to let go. Maybe it's within the human psyche, and we are made up differently. So my story and the forgiveness of the person who cannot be measured, or we begin to judge others who haven't reached there. So let me put that across. This is why I'm so grateful to God. Some people, it takes them longer. And so they need to be accompanied. Forgiveness is a process, not an event. And sometimes you can even have relapse. That's why there is a journey to make. 3, to forgive is to decide to remember differently. No, nothing can take away that I lost nearly 40 people in my family. They are not coming back.
That's harsh, but true.
It's true. Nothing can take that away. What you rather can do is to decide to not to use this as a weapon or to remain resentful, but rather to turn this mess into a message. And I hope whoever is listening to this, I hope that's how he takes it. With the help of God, I decided to turn my mess into a message, my test into a testimony. Not that people have pity on me, but to see what is possible when you decide to look at your past differently. Take the example of Nelson Mandela.
27 years.
27 years in jail. He comes out after 27 years. He forges South Africa in a different direction. That's what I mean by deciding to remember differently. Will 27 years go away? No.
And he could have chosen to pay back.
Yeah. So to forgive is to decide to remember differently. Remember, see what this means in a couple, for couples. See what this means for children and parents. And for all we know, we all fall short of God's glory. We all make mistakes. So how can we realize that if we too can make mistakes, that we can be able to help others who have made mistakes and journey together, so that we are healed and others are healed. So forgiveness restores the wronged and the wrongdoer. Thirdly, or fourthly, I think what forgiveness does is to offer a gift of generosity. It's really to be generous. Because I could have hit that guy at the tombs of my parents. With the help of God, I decided to be generous. So to forgive is to be generous, is to offer the gift of generosity. Isn't it what Christ does?
We fall short of His glory every day.
To be generous, to decide to show that I'm more human than you who harmed me. And that requires a lot of spiritual muscle, if I would put it. You need to have a lot of interior mechanisms to get to that level. And then finally, letting go is a gift from God. So it may not happen to some people. They have to be accompanied. But if you don't let go, you become a prisoner. That's a problem. And maybe the best thing you can do, even to yourself who has been harmed, is to realize that the person who has wronged you may even have died. The person who has harmed you may not even realize that what he did was wrong. They have moved on, and probably they have even gone to another country. So the best you can do, offer to yourself, is to forgive yourself. That's something what you call self-forgiveness.
Self-forgiveness.
I have to move on.
Maybe holding pain.
There is no book with one page. Let me take this one. Tell me if you have ever seen a book with one page. So this page of 94 was a painful one. But see how many others we have written. So why decide to be a prisoner of your past? And that's where one has to get and let go. 1994 cannot just define Rwanda. And whoever even today looks at Rwanda, they shouldn't only look at it from 1994. Rwanda has written many other good pages.
And indeed, Rwanda has written many other. It is a country of fasts right now in Africa. When you look at the progress, it's immense. It's a country. In Swahili we say ni nchi ya kupigiwa mfano. It's a country where we can use it as an example of what Africa can be. Maybe because of time, we have like 4 minutes remaining. There is people who have been hurt by the church, and not even necessarily by the church, but by the people in the church. People who have even decided to leave the faith because of the things they have seen, men of and women of God they've trusted, fellow congregants, and experiences they have had in church. These kind of experiences, when it comes to forgiveness, you've said it's even more painful because it's done by people you know, and now at the level of church heart, it's people you trust and you don't see it coming at all. How would you talk to someone who is in such like a position?
Yeah. First of all, it was to deeply accompany and acknowledge the harm that has been done. Take the example of the abuse that has been perpetrated by some clergy members. So let's put that very clear. Harm, what was done by any of the clergy, or even there is a lot of course, harm done in families, that has to be acknowledged. It's wrong, it's a crime. That's first. In order to heal, you have to acknowledge the wrong, and that's wrong. That's why for many years I kept having the image of that priest, the wrong that was done, and that damages people's lives for almost the rest of their lives. That's the first. So justice and truth. What happened has to be acknowledged. But that's not enough. Then there has also to be a level of, should I say, you cannot repair entirely somebody's life. But at least the acknowledgement and some level of accompaniment, repair for the damage done is an important step. Finally, even justice is not enough. There has to be mercy. Because justice can just mean you get your due, which can end up in retribution, end up with capital punishment. But in the end, we realize that can easily have a cycle of violence. So how even the wrongdoer needs redemption.
An eye for an eye leaves the country blind.
Exactly. An eye for an eye leaves the country. So even the wrongdoer needs redemption. So if I was to write the next book, I would like to write a book from the perspective of former prisoners or the former Interahamwe.
Yes.
What went wrong and how have they processed what they did? And so the really forgiveness is a miracle. And that's why it's a long journey to make. But if it is to be lasting, there has to be truth, acknowledgement of the wrong, where necessary, repair. Of course, some lives can never be brought back, but at least accompanying those who have been wronged, maybe even sending their kids to school to see that life is bigger, a wider horizon. Imagine the women who have been raped, and now not even just raped, they are living with kids born out of rape. Every time they look at the kid, they remember the raper. So there has to be a level where you accompany this person. So let's not sentimentalize forgiveness. Truth, acknowledgement of the wrong, justice, and above all, mercy. If it's not founded on truth, tomorrow the wrongs are committed again.
Indeed.
And so, as we conclude, I would like to mention my story is not unique. So you remember the danger of one story. There are many others who have suffered. But to our viewers, to our listeners, learn from Rwanda. Rwanda, let it be a mirror to the world. This is what happens when a culture of impunity thrives. This is what happens when people are never held accountable. This is what happens when education has become so indoctrinated and people are taught to hate. This is what happened when mass media is not done with justice and professionalism, but rather driven by ideology. One thing I never spoke about is the media and their role in the Rwanda's killings. But also to acknowledge that the target was very clear. The Tutsis were to be killed. Others who died within or after, that's not a genocide against the Tutsi. So because people often want to correct the same thing. I want to generalize. To make that very clear. So that's why it is called genocide against the Tutsi. Then people will ask, oh, but there were people who went to Congo. There were people who died in Congo. Why? There was a genocide first. And they fled. And they fled with ammunitions. In international law, you don't get into another country with ammunitions. But that's a topic for another day. So, because that's often people confuse this.
It's convoluted.
And then it leads to what? To denial or denialism. Or minimization of what really happened.
Being trivializing
the crime that was committed. Any other collateral damage that happened because there were killings of the Tutsis first. Or whoever refused to join the killing squad. The moderate Hutus. So I really want to make that very clear because you have this a lot in the academia, moral equivalence. And for those of us who have survived this ordeal, it's so painful. But I finish on a note of hope.
Yes.
Yes, I think it's important. There's a beautiful movie, the Shawshank Redemption. I don't know if you have watched the movie. And in the Shawshank Redemption, you have two characters, Andy Dufresne and then Red. They had been in jail for a very long time. And finally, they managed to get out of jail. And then Andy tells Dufresne, hope is a good thing. And probably the best of things. And remember, the good thing never dies. So the story of Rwanda has given me hope. And to see the resilience of a people and a country that was almost collapsing. All is not perfect in Rwanda. But certainly many things are done way better than in many other countries. So that gives me greater hope that when there is goodwill, when there is determination, when there is a desire to reconcile, people can live together again. Hope is a good thing, and good things never die.
Hope is a good thing, and good things never die. I believe that is a good place to bring this to an end because of time. We could have gone on and on, but you said this story is long.
Sure.
It is a whole book.
Yes, I will invite people to read this book. Or those who are French speakers, Ressuscité de mes cendres, or
a theological perspective,
reinventing theology. In this, I also offer a theology. So what does it mean to be a priest and a theologian after the genocide in Rwanda? That's a chapter one would want to read.
Where can we get the book?
You can get the book at the Catholic bookstore in Nairobi, at the cathedral, or at the any Pauline bookshops. You will find them here in Nairobi.
I believe at the CBD there is a bookstore, Caritas.
Yes. Yes.
That is near the Basilica there.
Basilica, exactly.
You can get that book.
Yeah.
And I think from me, one of there are many things I've learned, but one of the most important things is that there is a problem in generalizing. Not everybody was bad in Rwanda.
Correct.
Not all Hutus.
Correct.
You've said you are saved by several Hutus.
Yes,
you went
exactly.
through their hands, and they showed you mercy.
Yeah.
And indeed, let us not have a blanket condemnation of people and groups and all that.
That's correct.
All right. So thank you for your time, Father. And just before I leave, you've welcomed us into your office at the Hekima University College.
Yes.
Probably you can tell us, for somebody who wants to study here, do I have to be a Jesuit? What are the courses on offer at Hekima?
Excellent question. And thank you. Hekima, a Jesuit institution of higher learning, a constituent college of the Catholic University. Jesuits are known for really quality education and intellectual rigor. So come, I will invite people to join us. What courses do we have? We have theology, a bachelor and a master of theology. So the two. Then we have a master of peace studies and international relations. And I can't imagine a wonderful course in the current world in which we live, torn by conflicts.
Yes.
So peace studies and international relations, 2 years. Then we have a Bachelor of Business Innovation, Bachelor of Science in Business Innovation and Social Entrepreneurship. Bachelor, 4 years here in Kenya. Another wonderful program. So if you want to form innovators, entrepreneurs,
run business,
this is a good program. And then we have a Bachelor of Diplomacy, Migration and Security. So people working in the diplomatic corps or in the military or in the police, non-governmental organization, issues of migration, this is a course to take. Again, a bachelor, which actually if you finish it, you can even transit to a Master of Peace Studies and International Relations. And then we have a Master of Spirituality. We are a Catholic university, so we want also to keep to what is best of the Catholic tradition. And hopefully next year we begin data science, then education. We are located here on Ngong Road and on Riara Road. Very accessible to many places. And if all goes well, we hope our programs, at least 5 of them, so we have 6 programs, as I mentioned, Bachelor of Theology, Master of Theology, Bachelor of Business Innovation and Social Entrepreneurship, Bachelor of Migration and Security and Diplomacy, and then Master of Spirituality and Peace Studies and International Relations. So 6. 5 of these are going to be online. If we pending the approval by the Commission for University Education. We are waiting for their inspection. So you can actually study from the comfort of your room. And we have built a 5-star studio. Next time, that's where we should go. It's a wonderful studio. But today, because that would be actually a wonderful place on our other, on Riara Road. So come and study with us. We started in 1984. So we are now 42 years. So there is a tradition. Thank you very much. And for those who want to follow, they can go on our website, www.hekima.ac.ke. And there you will also see even the contacts of the registrar, and then you can reach out to us.
All right. Thank you, Father Marcel. And thank you again for welcoming us and sharing your story.
Thank you so much. And may God bless you, and gratitude to our viewers.
All right.